on this Tuesday. You know, I have decided I'm going to go with the casual week this week. It's cold here, and the minute it gets cold outside, I am cold. So I have been freezing just to stay warm. So just to stay, halfway comfortable at least. So anyway, how's everybody going today? Are we all surviving the new year? Are we all getting over the holiday hangovers? I know today was the first day that I got worked out. So normally I get up about 5:30 and I go meet a friend and we work out. And then our schedule is kind of weird, so we didn't get up every morning. So this morning was the first morning that I got up after the post holiday and got everything going. So just trying to staying on my schedule here of what I've got going in my planner and stuff like that. So I hope everybody's having success or kind of getting routine of life. So anyway, all right, before I get rocking and rolling, today is going to be an interesting topic. I know it's something that a lot of people about, so I'm going to kind of give you little insider information, if you will, on what I have learned about the credit. This is that's why, what I've learned about banks and credit. Okay. This has all been a learning process for me, guys. Houses now. I have sold one. And then that was even before I became a realtor. Then I became a realtor, and now I'm learning all kinds of new things. I'm learning new times. I'm learning what to do better. We're learning about refinancing and all of that. A lot of this that I'm teaching you guys is from personal experience. It's don't talk about. Okay. That's what it is. It's the things that people don't talk about. Okay. So before I get rocking and rolling on that this morning, okay, you guys can win a one-on-one. We can talk about this. I can give you my personal experience, my realtor, my professional experience. I'm giving away 2 one-on-ones this month. Okay. One on the 10th and then one on the 20th. Okay. So I will announce those. Enter is pop over to YouTube. It's Help Me Rhonda is the channel. The link is in the description. Whatever video you're watching, the link is in the description. So pop over the like button and comment on it because I want to give you guys the path of least resistance where selling a house is. Okay. I want to get you on a path that I wish I would have had when I started doing this with all of that. Okay. So this is why I'm doing all of this, guys, is I just want to give you kind of the insider trading on all of this. So you fact, okay, and what to look for. All right. So let's jump on into it. What I didn't know about banks and credit. Okay. Now, this is something that I've actually just learned story on why I did what I did. Okay. So before I became a realtor, we sold our first house. We bought this property that we live at. We bought it actually on contract, which is not something we were just very fortunate. It's not something to do anymore. It was a private deal. I didn't have a realtor involved or anything. We just did it private, but we had to in 5 years, we had to do. So we actually did it early. About a half a year early is what we ended up doing. So we went. So let me give you a little. So before we got into this property that we had, I had a heck of a go around with Bank of America in 2008 to Bank of America. My loan was all messed up. Bank of America wasn't helping me fix it. And as we were trying to sell in, because we were already moved into this one, so we were trying to sell our home. Bank of America was actually trying to shove my husband and I into foreclosure. And I actually had to get involved, and I won a lawsuit with them from Bank of America over this, as they tried to shove me into foreclosure, because that was all about the 2008. They when they got this, when the housing market kind of went to crap, and then they got all that financing, so they were trying to shove my husband and I into foreclosure, get government money. Okay, they didn't care about me. They didn't care about me and what I had going on. All they were caring about was their money that they were getting. I made the decision to go ahead, and now mind you, this is pre real estate agent. Okay, so when I made the decision that we were going to get a loan, I decided that local mortgage going to be sold, which is what I did. Okay, I went to our local bank here in our hometown, and I did it all in place, right? Okay. Well, I'm kind of learning that that's not necessarily a good thing. Okay, and I'll give you a little reason why here. But mortgage, they took on the auto loans and any other loans that we had, and they've been our bank for the last, I don't know, 8 years, I think is what I've been with them now. Long story short. All right. So now we are into where, interest rates are so great right now that we decided that who is in financing, in mortgage financing, and she was telling me about, she's been really helpful through this whole process. As a real estate agent, we get interest rate updates all the time, and refinancing interest rates are super low. It's probably a good time to finance and just get our interest even lower than what it already was, because they are like majorly low right now. All right. From what they were even in 2020, but they're super low right now. Okay. So we started the real estate process. Well, number one of what I've discussed about banks and credit. Okay. My husband and I do not believe in credit cards. We do not have any. So since I am self-employed, I decided that, and my husband through our bank, everything is allotted in our husband, because he has a job. Okay. Which is fine. I don't care. We don't plan on divorcing anytime soon anyway. So not a big deal, right? I wasn't worried, but I thought, I just really need, if I were to ever need to apply for credit solely on my own, I really need to have my own line of credit without him. So I had gotten a famous, just a little store card, and I bought a couple pairs of shoes, all of that on it. No big deal, right? Okay. So I do that, start this financing. But other than that, we don't have credit cards. Okay. We just don't. And I personally like it that way. If any of you guys watch Dave Ramsey, you hear him love debt score. So I'm not really into credit cards. I just don't feel like if I don't have the cash to spend on it, I'm not going to rack it onto a credit card. Okay. My personal, right? Okay. So anyway, but this is what I learned in this process. So my girlfriend is trying to get us refinanced. Well, the problem is, and this is something small lending banks like the local bank that I went to. So we're talking little local banks, not like franchise banks like I'm drawing a blank on all the banks. Wells Fargo is another one. Bank of America is another. The other ones, Bank of America, and then Bank of the West. Those are all bigger franchise banks. Okay. So what I've discovered in this whole process is that since we had everything at the one bank, little bankers are not required to report to all three credit bureaus. Okay. So when she pulled our credit to, my husband only had one credit score. I had three because I had that little credit card, but he only had one. And since he is the, I don't know, breadwinner, he's got a W-2 job and I'm self-employed, you know, they really don't like loaning to us people that are self-employed. That's just the way it is. You know, he is the first on, and I am always like the secondary income or however that works. Okay. But I learned that he only had one credit score, which created a huge problem. Because with him being first on all the score, and he's got, for the one credit score, he's got a nice credit score. However, without them reporting to, then a lot of the mortgage companies have to have at least 2 credit scores in order to finance you. Okay. That was something I did not know. That was something so that's why I'm kind of giving you guys the 411 on this. When you go to a bank, if you guys are looking for a mortgage or for a loan or anything, when you go to a bank, even if it is, make sure you ask them if they report to more than one credit bureau. And there's ways to combat that. You know, even if they do and you still want to, a problem, you're just going to need to make sure that you have a credit card or some other source of credit someplace else. Excuse me. So that way you can make sure that you are getting 3 credit scores on the line, because then you can go anywhere and get financing. Okay. You can go and get financing anywhere. All right. So just keep that in mind. Small lenders do. The guy explained it to me when I talked to the bank president. He explained it to me that the reason is they have to pay to report to these. So that's why they say the smaller lenders do not have to report to all 3. Okay, is because they're a smaller volume that a lot like Bank of America does have. So they don't have to report to all of them. So that's just for your information. I think some credit unions are in on that as well. So if you're wanting to work with a credit union, that's great one. But just keep in mind, it's going to have to be a question that you ask of, do you report, how many credit bureaus do you report to? Is it just one? If it is just one and you want to go with them because they give you the best rate, that you're combating it with some other forms of credit so you have 3 scores. My husband, like I said, we credit cards, so he only had the 1 credit score because we had all of our loans with the one bank. Okay. And that brings me to number 2. You really need to shop around more than one place. Okay. I'm not saying you have to, if you have 6 loans, I'm not saying you have to have 6 banks, but you might, if you decide you want to have a mortgage, this bank that maybe you have a checking account with, maybe put your auto loans with another bank that you have another account with. So then that way, the bank doesn't know all your business. That's another thing, is the bank doesn't know all your business. So they can't sit there and say, well, you got X, Y, and Z coming in, and we have X, Y, and Z for loans. So, oh, I'm sorry, you're shut off. Or, you know, oh yeah, we can loan it to you. So just make sure that you know how to combat that. Just put stuff in more than one place. You don't have to have everything at one bank unless you do ever work with that bank. And there's some people that do that, and I'm not saying that that's wrong. Okay. But I'm just trying to give you some knowledge of some things that I didn't learn because I've had to learn by fire. Right. And that's what I'm trying to keep you guys from doing, is having some knowledge so you don't have to learn by fire like I do. Okay. Don't, maybe shop around a little bit and see who, somebody can give you a better, like, there's places that do a little more higher risk. And this, so we even had my little bank. And then when I learned this, I was like, well, we need to combat this a little bit, because I want him to build his own credit rating while he's in college. okay, one bank or to one credit bureau, then we need to combat that another way, okay? So that's just something to think about if you have an upcoming young adult that is needing to make sure that if you get them a car loan or whatever for their first loan, okay, make sure that the bank is according to at least 3 credit bureaus, okay? Help them in the long run to be able to get themselves an established credit, okay? Because no credit isn't, sometimes it's worse than bad credit, but at the same time, you know, it kind of goes hand in hand. So you want to have them some good credit, okay? In our school, this is stuff they don't talk about in our schools these days. So this is something that is important, okay? And why is it important? Or if like your student or whatever is needing to build some credit, they need to have at least 3 credit scores, okay? We've even run into the problem of not being financing for him to go to school because of we can't co-sign for him because we only have 1 credit score, or my husband does, okay? So keep that in mind as you are ask this pertinent question. If you go to a smaller bank, I don't discount it at all, okay? They helped me out. I had, you know, but what they've kind of cuffed me to that bank, okay? So now in order for me to refinance and get an even better rate than what they were saying that they could get me, I had to jump through, my husband and I, boy, that was good grammar. My husband and I had to jump through a lot more hoops to make that happen. So just trying to give you the little bit of the hey, 411, you're going to look at places. That's why banks are not always the best place to get financing, okay? Don't discount. I know mortgage brokers have got a bad rap and foreclosures and that kind of stuff, but they have a lot more rules and regulations now than what they had in the past. And they've had to kind of clean some. So even if you do have bad credit, a mortgage broker, you know, they can a lot of times go to a lesser credit score. Okay. All right. So I hope kind of jumps you ahead and takes a look at what you guys are kind of needing to think about before you do go get your financing. And it's maybe you may need to pull your or have your credit pulled and see where you're at and just be like, hey, and there's outlets out there that you can do that on. So I am going to get you, so I am doing a free little mini like course, I'm going to call it. It's going to be 5 days of smooth financing. We're deep into some of this kind of stuff. So you guys are very prepared. So when you go and take your stuff to the loan officer, you are prepared to with confidence and be like, here's what you need, or do it on, everything's done online now, but do it online, have what you need handy, and then move forward. Okay. And you can do it with confidence and you can know that you are doing the right thing for your family. Had I known that a few years ago, when I may not have went with the mortgage company with this, I may not have done that. Okay. That's why you live and learn. And that's why I'm doing these little series so you guys can get that. Okay. If you want to get into that 5 days of smoother financing, the link to my free group, a Facebook group is in there. That's where it's going to be. Pop over that. It's going to start the date over there once I get that started, and I will announce that date here this week. So anyway, I hope you guys all have an amazing day. I will see you guys all.